our lives.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
There's a secret sound hidden deep within the center of the earth. Until you listen closely enough, you can hear it. And it sounds like razors through flesh. We are merely here to turn up the volume.
Hello, 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 and welcome to our corner of the Freak Show. This is Chainer's Haunted Secrets, and I have with me Raz and Friday, and our special guests, Mike and Lori Ross from Sinister, Sydney in Iowa. I think that's awesome because there's a whole bunch of different sounds and Raz knows how to do. I know absolutely nothing how to do that.
They're labeled. They say things.
They're labeled wrong.
You too can learn how to. Oh, yeah. I mean, we okay, you guys just have to hear this. This is labeled Mary.
No.
And that's the way, but applause was definitely.
That's wonderful.
It's
Oh,
crap
and
shoot.
Friday's gone.
She disappeared. She's Homer Simpsoned it, man.
She's a ghost.
She's in the cemetery.
So
There we
today's
go.
show, I'm super excited because we do have Budsy with us. This might be the one and only show I actually get Budsy to appear on. I know. Trying to figure out where to point at is kind of hard when it flips around. But, so Budsy is my son, and he is one of the members of Chainer's Field of Screams. And we want to talk to Mike and Lori about Sinister Sydney and everything that Mike and Lori do, because boy, there's a heck of a sheet that goes along with this two here.
Yeah, it's a lot of sheet, all right.
Right.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? When I met Mike the first time, I was just so amazed because I was just learning so much about him. His haunt has evolved through the few years I've known him. And I'm just so excited to just get down and dig a grave with the famous grave digger.
Hell yeah.
No, he's going to be on another show.
Yeah, he will. He will.
I understand. We're signing contracts for future appearances.
We've got people lined up. Well, we'll just put it that way.
It's very exciting.
The many faces.
Careful, my other husband is quite the character.
I love it.
So let's get down to it. Mike, if you would like to just explain about Sinister Sydney and how did you start it?
Okay, well, if I can keep from bending my head up where that's shining off this giant forehead, I just notice that's like my hairline completely disappears from that. All right, sorry. I'm sorry. Sinister Sydney.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. 2014. Well, we got married in 2012. First off, Lori and I, we went out back in junior high. We were in theater together, things like that. And then come mid high school time, kind of, you know, went our own lives and went off and what have you.
Lost track of each other.
And it was what, 30, 35
30
years?
years.
30 years later. She started trying to stalk me and finding me. Sent out like 200 messages to Mike Ross's across MySpace.
There's a lot of them.
Oh yeah, there are. I have a club.
I know you do.
Yeah. You know, did you grow up in Raven Oaks? Did you grow up?
Does the name Dockweiler sound familiar?
And she found me, and we started chatting again. Funny story. So we started chatting again. Now, right at that time, my current wife at that time and I were splitting up. Hadn't been good for a while. It was, you know, we were in the middle of splitting up. She wasn't aware of this or anything, but you know, we were just old friends, and I did some work on the computer store for her, and that she worked in. And oh, hi, Kev. And so anyway, so I'm like kind of getting into her again a bit, and so I made some little post about something that I had made for dinner, and she commented, "That looks good." And I said, "Well, I'll have to serve that when you come to dinner next Tuesday."
Oh, smooth.
And she's like, "Okay." And I was like, so you know, that was a will you go out with me deal, right? You know,
I didn't realize it.
she didn't know it.
Thought he was still married.
Yeah. And so when it was coming on, I think it snowed that night, didn't it?
It was going to snow.
It was going to snow, and I told her, you can go ahead and park in the further garage, so that your car doesn't get buried in. And she said, "Well, won't your wife have an issue with that?" And I'm like, okay, now I'm scared, because here I have this date set up, and it dawns on me that she doesn't realize it's a date. She thinks she's coming to dinner with me and my wife. And so I'm like, oh shit. And I said, so we split up a while back. And
you asked if that would make any difference.
yeah, I said, is that gonna change anything? And she said,
only what I'm gonna wear.
Nice. I love that.
It went from there. We got married in 2012. Anyway, her and I we both got into haunting back in like 79 when we were little kids, you know, working in the run by radio stations, all charity haunts, local type thing.
Old school haunts.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah, they were great. And we loved them, and we've always loved Halloween. So we got together and we started getting things, and I started being able to bring out my Halloween stuff that I had that the ex hated Halloween. So it was all packed away forever. And we had a night, we decorated up our porch and all that. Trouble is, where I am out of town, we're just far enough out of town that nobody wants to go a quarter of a mile away from all the houses. So we got no trick or treaters at all. And we went a couple of years like that. And so we're like, I want to show off stuff. And we saw a posting from a guy in a town a little bit over from us who was selling off his haunt stuff.
Massive collection.
He had two lots that were next to each other, and he was Halloween and his wife was Christmas. And he would fill the entire yard with all of his Halloweens. He had animatronics, he had all kinds of cool stuff. And his wife had decided she did not have enough room to store her Christmas stuff, so he got rid of his Halloween stuff.
Oh no.
Can you imagine?
No, I would cry.
We jetted over there and bought everything we could from him. And we said, why don't we have like this? I just wanted trick-or-treaters. That's all I wanted. I wanted my stuff. And so we set up in 2015 for a one night only, and Halloween happened to be on a Saturday night. So it worked out great. And we just started publicizing, and I set up this little path through. We have 5 acres, and it wasn't even a quarter mile long.
Oh, not even.
No, not even. And I just set up a path through our trees, and we put things here and there and everything. And he ended up coming up back around behind our house, then going down our driveway and walking back down the highway to your car.
Luckily, at the time, we had a teenage daughter with a lot of friends to help us.
Child army.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is nothing creepier than a bunch of kids decorating for Halloween when you give them free reign with things.
Oh, I just got
Okay,
my daughter
wow.
like
Yeah.
5 years ago. Like she started as a 15-year-old. She just turned 20 a couple weeks ago, and like she was such a cute little innocent child, and now like she's terrifying. I'm so proud.
Mm,
Oh, ours always has been.
yeah.
Plus her and her friends, the haunt needs something. We just call her, and and her fiance, and then all the other kids of the haunt, the younger ones come down. It's just here's 20 jobs. You have 2 hours. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So we decided to have this one night thing and publicized it everywhere. Like I said, when I go into something, I go in hard. And so we publicized it across all the local groups and into Omaha and all. Okay. Also, Sydney is a town. It was a town of 1,100. It's a town of about 1,000 people.
Oh, wow.
40
Yeah.
miles south of Omaha. 20 miles from Shenandoah, 20 miles from Nebraska City. So it's just nowhere land. Nobody
Right.
knows about it except for the Sydney, Iowa Rodeo, which has been going on. Last year was its 100th consecutive year. It's the longest running outdoor rodeo. And that weekend, or it used to be a week, but that week out of the year, all of a sudden there were 50,000 people here. It's died kind of over the years,
Yeah.
but that's all it was known for. That's all anybody ever heard of Sydney for. So getting people here was an issue, but we had a great turnout that one night.
Yeah.
We had actually one of our biggest nights, even as a pro haunt. It's not our biggest, but one of our biggest nights was that night because they all had to come and see what was going on. We did, yeah. I think we charged. We did charge because we took everything out of our pocket.
Yeah.
You know, we just wanted to make back a little bit of money.
Donations, man.
Yeah.
No, we charged.
No, yeah, it wasn't donations. We actually charged.
I sat with a sewing machine desk with a cash box in the drawer and armbands in a box on the top of the desk and
And a
sold
ticker.
tickets and
And
a
a
little
ticker.
clicker.
Little
To
clicker.
That's awesome.
No, you didn't even have that. You didn't have the clicker. You were doing slashes the first year.
Yeah, that first night only.
first-
Yeah,
first
you're right.
couple.
We didn't get that till the first
So-
full season.
So anyway, it went great. It seemed to be a hit, and we looked at each other and said, "Let's do this. Let's do this for real." And so, because we had a great crew, we had what I think we
A
had like
lot.
45 people working for us that one night,
Volunteering.
volunteering
for
for us.
us. We are completely
Yes.
volunteer based.
Volunteering for us that one night. We're like, I think we could do this. So I cut more of a trail, and we started out our first full year, full season. We were about a quarter mile long. We expanded it. We took it away to where they weren't having to walk by our house and down our driveway and back down the
And
Right.
down the highway.
yeah. So we rearranged things a little bit, and just every year we have worked on growing. We add every year. Whether it's scenes. I tried a couple of years ago. One year I'm like, we're not adding anything. We're just going to enhance
Yeah.
what we
How'd
have.
that work out for you?
Yeah, I think we added about another 800, 900 feet to the trail.
Yeah.
And a couple more buildings. And or was that the electrical?
That was the electrical.
That
year.
was we began running off of generators. I had, I think, 6 generators that ran the place. And a one line that came out of the house and went over an extension cord to, that kind of a deal. But yeah, a couple of years ago, we went full real power. We got rid of our generators. We ran power lines.
poles everywhere
out
and
the-
breaker boxes in different buildings. And yeah.
Yeah, legitimate electricity. So we didn't have to worry about that. And we just keep adding to it. And that we've got our group of core people that are hard workers, which are, their family. Actually, some of them are family.
Yeah.
Right.
Our oldest daughter, Dusty, and her husband have taken over the back end of the back side of the haunt. They have 2 large sections, Scarecrow Alley and the circus tent. And I don't
keep
even,
adding to it.
I don't do anything to that area anymore. I'm not in charge of it anymore. It's just,
not
okay,
ours
what are you
anymore.
guys doing this year? Let me know so I don't trip over something.
Oh, you need to buy stuff? Yeah, bring us the receipts. We'll pay you back.
Whatever,
Nice.
And our core people are like that. Our wonderful our kid Cody, he has his section, the Green Hollow section. I
Nah.
don't know. I don't want to tell them.
No.
Okay. Anyway, the Green Hollow section, and that's been expanding the last couple of years. There's a story behind that,
Local urban legend
type of a deal.
thing.
Nice. We have a whole show based on talking about things like that.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, you probably did. Well, I don't know. I think you might have heard about it in Thurman a couple of years ago. Somebody came out, and I guess they've been trying to come out for 40 years telling people about it, but she finally went to the national news. Some guy that was probably the most prolific serial killer in the country.
Donald Studi.
Overall, yes.
I do know about that. Yeah.
Don't we have a second show for serial killers?
Legends by Night is our serial killer / paranormal / cryptid / everything.
Well,
Yeah.
he
that
lived
happened
on
15 miles
He
from
lived
us.
on Green Hollow Road, which is about
Okay.
15 miles away.
Okay.
The day that broke, I called up a friend, and he made me a street sign that said Green Hollow Road, and I had it just a post with Green Hollow Road off in the back of the trail, and there was a trail that went off to the side that you couldn't go to that year. But that night, I had Green Hollow Road incorporated, and now we have a whole section based on it.
That is so epic. I know, like back in 2022, didn't they go over there and like start digging up a lot of his land to like hunt for evidence and everything?
We know stuff.
Yeah,
We know stuff that
we can't really share.
can't really
Well,
share
understandable.
about,
Understandable. Yeah.
but it's not over.
No, it's not over.
So anyway, so we've got that section, and we've assigned people who have been here and shown the gumption and the work hard. We give them areas,
Or they build their own.
or they build their own. Yeah, like
One of my,
Tyler
okay, I went from the sewing machine desk. We got one of those big water tanks that you see in farmers' fields, the green
Okay.
ones. Okay, and we cut a door in it, and then on the opposite side we cut a window, and I put a little table in there, and that's what I used for a few years. Well, then one of our actors built me an 8x8
ticket booth.
ticket booth. It's really nice.
An
It's
actual ticket booth.
super insulated. I love it. It's amazing.
Okay,
But
and
He
bring up the shared screen just for a
One
second, just as a reference. That he built her this.
Yeah. It's got power. It's got everything I never had before. I love this thing.
That's so
But
cool.
You guys
he
use the
also,
same
on the
fencing as
backside of
me.
it, built a big stairway, and we like to stay away from the licensed characters, but we do have a Jeepers Creepers that also does a different character on some nights. He likes to run up the stairway on the back of that building, run across the roof, and just sit there.
Sharpening his knives.
He's got this hatchet that he made, very thick metal, very blunt, very dull, and a sharpening knife thing. And he sits up there, and people won't notice him, and he just starts sharpening that. That hatchet is now so sharp you could cut a whisker in half.
Yeah.
Because he has been, that's all it does is sit and be sharpened.
So
That's one of those characters that like a lot of hunts I know, a lot of us don't do like the big Hollywood stuff. Like we'll like the smaller properties. We like I end up doing Beetlejuice a lot at ours because we have one cinema night where we have some characters in there, but other than that, it's just me and I'm more outside of the haunt talking to people more so than inside. And I'll notice that there's characters like that, but in Ohio, I know if you can do Jeepers Creepers, you're gold because there's like 3 different haunts that sometimes we'll get at Jeepers Creepers, and that's just one of those characters that like it transcends.
yeah,
The Hollywood angle. It really does.
and he doesn't even have to interact with people. He's just in the day. We have one other, and that's Bagul, because Sinister.
Nice. Yeah.
Sinister Sydney. So we've had him from the beginning, and that's our son-in-law who is 6'10".
No, I don't think
6'8".
he's quite that. I think he's 6'8", 6'9", something like that.
But
we have
Geez.
we have
I've
a
never seen
really
that
good
character to hunt.
wool mask, and he wears it. Matter of fact, it's back there somewhere.
it's hidden behind.
Yeah,
the curtain.
it's too high up. You can't see it.
Nope, you can't. That's all right.
But yeah, he looks wonderful in it.
But the fun thing about that is, of course, the stealer of children's souls type of deal. Well, that's my son-in-law and my daughter. Him and her are the ones who run the back half of the haunt. She runs the circus tent. He runs Scarecrow Alley, and all my grandkids participate. So we have the little kids running around with Bagul. So we've got
That's so epic, man.
So I talk about and I tell everybody this is a family deal, and it's like completely literal. I just kind of went past it again. Okay, this is one of our prime actors. This is my granddaughter Serenity. She is. This was a couple of years ago. She's now 11.
Yeah,
she's 11. And okay, clear it so I can screech over to our youngest actor. Do
you have him?
I do. I found. I just
there
went past him. There we go. Okay.
He started when he was 6. Now his father is Bagul, so very, very huge man. This kid at 6 is very tall.
And creepy.
And creepy as hell. Well, and he comes up with his own little games and stuff. And yeah, he creeps people out really good.
He reminds me of Gage from the original Pet Cemetery a little bit.
A little bit, and by the way, we'll get into it later. We have
nice.
But
yeah.
But so he started, he's in his 3rd year now of doing this. He's a little bigger. Here he was still a little shit. And his 1st year, he came up. So we raise kids. We raise the little kids in the circus tent because Dusty, my daughter, she's the mom of the group, and she's the main clown for it. And it's a very interactive. It's not necessarily a scary circus tent. It's a creepy circus tent.
Our oldest granddaughter was terrified of clowns.
There it is. That's the inside.
And she now plays one.
Tent. Yeah.
My youngest was also terrified of clowns, and her fiance is now a clown, and she's suddenly now okay with clowns. It's a whole hot transition, man.
I remember when you were putting the roof on that building.
Which one?
This roof. This is the one he's talking about.
We have fought with this thing for years. We finally got it right.
You know what? Just watching the videos of, I think we got it this time. We've got it hooked up to the tractor or the mower, and we're bringing. Oh man, I know exactly at your haunt where this is just because I've watched your videos.
For the people who don't know, this thing right here in the middle, this is a telephone pole, and it went up about 30 foot. And
because it was only 5 foot in the ground.
Right. Our original design was a circus tent style with the pointy roof.
Right.
We, however, did not have circus tent canvas that went from round, pointy to square building. So we used tarp. And for that, you have to fold it and do this and that to make it fit right. And I had a beautiful mechanism that it all hooked to a ring that we could pull it up and lower it in the winter and all that. And all that went to shit about twice a year.
Yeah.
It all fell apart. We had to fix it, and we fixed it so many times. And a wonderful gentleman that owned a restaurant here in town, they had a deck out back that they had. They originally wanted to make it a smoking deck, and Iowa said, no, you can't have smoking at all, even outside, because you're a restaurant. So he took it down, and he donated the structure.
The metal bands.
And we made it fit our building and stretched the tarp over the top of it, and it's in its 3rd year without
any problem,
without fail.
And
we did have to cut the telephone pole down because it wasn't quite that tall anymore. But I wanted to say, so this is the circus tent, and our little 6-year-old grandson, his 1st year, first time doing something like this. We had 2 big dice.
You can actually see them. They're right there.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're right back there. Those 2 dice there. Oh, I'm pointing on the wrong screen. There we go. They're right there. those 2 dice. He made up a game, and a group would come in, and this is a little 6-year-old boy who sounds like a little 6-year-old boy, although he used some kind of slightly creepy voice. And he would give him the dice, and he said, "You roll these dice, and if you roll the number I'm thinking, I get to kill and eat you." And he came up with this. They would roll, and he'd be like, "Darn it, you missed by 1 number. All right, I guess you can go." Because he didn't tell him what number. And he came up with that all on his own.
Yeah.
This kid is a psychopath at 6. It's awesome.
It's so epic, man. I love it.
And he's growing now, and they all grow up in the circus tent, and then as they get
They
older,
get other
which
places. As
none of them have. Our oldest one is 16. He's still in the circus tent,
Actually,
but he can.
the exit way is now a tunnel
We build off of it, yes.
with a big round awning thing on it. Well, curved awning on it, and a place where he can hide up there and reach down at them while they're in a hallway full of mirrors.
Yeah, so we got a mirror hallway going off. So I guess he is moving out of the
Yeah,
tent
he's
now.
moving slowly
growing.
out. He's out at the edge now.
But that's where we grow our kids, is in that building. And then they get to move around, and it literally is a family affair. We've got family all over the haunt, and they take their little sections and they work on their sections. And then we have the scare actors. We have the high school kids, things that we only see at events or acting for the night.
Yeah.
But we are volunteer. But we started 2 years ago, giving an incentive for showing up. If you're there every night, we actually take a percentage of the door that we make over the entire season, and we split that between everybody who is here every night. And the year before last, we had like 18 that were there. And last year we had 24 characters that were here every single night, and they got to split the door. Luckily, it was a bigger door, so it's smaller amount, but that's
and we
incentive for them to come
between different nights, anywhere from those 24 to 30, 40 people.
We had 45 one night,
right? Yeah.
So,
and we need them all.
Yeah,
we do. We can get by on 25, but not very well.
Right,
they really have to hustle.
The night that we had to do that, though, we had people coming going, how many people do you have working? They were everywhere. Because we are open, as you guys know, a trail. You've got room to run across and through things. And they were covering,
we've got back trails.
They were covering 2 or 3 spots at a time as they could. And so people thought that we were just packed with actors. And it was like our lowest night ever for the least number of actors.
Surprised us. We did great.
That's when you find out who your runners are too. The people that's your spirit of the haunt right there. Because you got that low number, because that low number of people, those are the people that are going to go.
Those are the
go full tilt.
Yeah.
And I got to give it to our crew. Our cast and crew is freaking phenomenal. They amaze us every year. Could not be who and what we are today without our cast and crew, and they are all volunteers. Nobody gets paid.
Now, again, we do incentives. We now feed them. I have a real-time job. I work for a restaurant over in another town right off the interstate, a travel center with a restaurant in it, and I worked out a deal with them, and they now feed us every Friday and Saturday night.
Nice.
And so when they come in, it's not pizza or Burger King. It is pulled pork and mac and cheese and fried chicken.
Food.
It's restaurant food. So
and they treat us amazingly. And all we have to do is put up their banner at the queue line and give them some free tickets. And
sponsorship,
they're feeding us good.
Yeah. So I mean, the kids, they're finding out that it is a family.
Yeah,
we will literally go to jail for them to back them. I'm not telling that story tonight. I'm not telling that story. But,
no,
there's always the second season, Mike.
Point. But, we have their backs, and they are our kids. Every one of them are our kids, and that's the way we like it. And that's the way we treat them, and literally, that's the way we treat them. They're acting up; they'll get their ass whooped too.
The ones that we have to get parents permission from, because under a certain age we require to speak to their parents before they do it.
Right.
Those people are fully warned that the adults that have been here forever will absolutely treat your child as if it is one of their own if they are acting up wrong,
and they give us permission
and we will correct them.
And they give us permission
they're like,
directly in front of the kids. They right in front of the kids. They give us permission. This is your parent when you're here.
And we also let them know if their schoolwork is failing or something, you let us know. They're not welcome here if their grades are if they're having problems in school. They're not allowed.
We've actually had them come and have to finish their homework in the costume shop before they're allowed to come on to site. So that's a big thing with it. So anyway, every year we grow. Every year we add a new section. We have, like, we started out well under a quarter mile. First full year was a quarter mile. We're now over half a mile long. We started out on 5 acres where the house was, and we used about
3.
Initially we used about 1.5.
Yeah.
Right.
We've now expanded to where we're using about 4 of those acres, and we bought the lot next to us, which is another 5 acres, where we also keep the horses and what have you. But it came with the house, so that's our new costume shop, makeup shop, right on the other side of the parking lot, which we used as a parking lot even when it wasn't our property. But the property is owned by a deadbeat landlord that was never there, things like that. And it was just an empty lot, so we used it as a parking lot. He found out, he started charging us outrageous amounts for it. I found out he had a big lien on the property. I talked to the bank and I bought it out from under him.
Nice.
So you do what you got to do, right? Don't fight the family.
Yeah.
Don't mess with us.
Don't mess with the family.
I do want to point out that as you keep on saying family and this and that, Mike, you guys got recently 5 awards, and one of them is the Best Boss Award.
We're not sure how that happened.
We don't know where that comes, especially since my name is on there and everybody knows I'm not the boss. So I'm not sure how my name got on.
And this is all the businesses in our county.
Right.
And that's what surprised us. The one that shocked me was the best tourist attraction. We beat the rodeo parade.
We
or
beat
the rodeo.
100-year-old rodeo. We beat and Wabansie.
Yeah.
Which is we have a state park. Wonderful state park here in Fremont County. And we beat them up for tourist attraction too. So
the five awards that you guys got, and I wrote them down here. Local tourist attraction, family-owned company, best place to work, best weekend entertainment, and best boss.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So I'm just going to say that you guys must be doing something really wonderful to get everybody's attention enough that they are voting for you, because I understand how those go.
Yeah.
And I am not even close to being on any of these suggestions for my county.
Well, we try to give back to the community. We take food donations for the local food pantry. They get all that food right before Thanksgiving and Christmas, when they need it the most.
We offer money off for bringing in cans, and most people bring in. We offer $1 per non-perishable, up to $3 per ticket. Most people bring in more than but they're just like, here, just take it.
Take it. Yeah.
Right. People are good people.
Right.
And then we also collect donations for a local animal rescue, Hooves and Paws Rescue of the Heartland.
Right.
And we've done really well for them the last couple of years. We also adopted the bypass, and we clean up the trash there twice a year. Well, we try to.
Yeah.
There was a couple years
they shut us down during COVID. They're like, no, you're not allowed to go out and clean it up.
Yeah.
But it's a fairly clean bypass anyway. But one of the great things about that, one, going out there and doing it as an event, those things allow us to offer what's the word I'm looking for?
The student community service hours.
Community service hours, right?
So any students that want to keep track of it's usually for seniors, they can keep track of the hours that they've put in doing anything for us, because we do take all these donations. We do clean up the highway. They can use that as their senior hours.
Right. And our school here just notified me this year that I can actually give credit to any volunteers that help my haunt now.
Good.
They just recognized us for everything that we do. I mean, we're like you. We take our money, we donate it. We want to do as much good as we can with it. We love having those kids out. Those kids will fight tooth and nail for our haunt. And I've got 2 kids that those 2 absolutely have called me their assisted dad because
I'm haunt mom.
Because their dads actually passed away, and they just love being around me and this and that. And I told them, I said, I can't replace your fathers.
Right.
But you know what? It is great that you guys look so much towards me. I do want to say that everything I've ever watched on your stuff has been amazing. And I know you were so happy when you got a billboard.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We've already got it reserved for this year too.
I've got
back up.
It went right past it. I clicked too fast.
Back up.
There it is.
Bringing it up.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
About what, half a mile down from us at most?
Oh, it's not even that. It's a quarter mile down from the haunt. It's right after you turn into town off the bypass. So the haunt is just ahead. And I put it together like that because of the way the logo is. So it's just ahead, right? It's just ahead. Just joke thing. And Angelica, our actor manager and boss queen of the everybody in makeup, she's like, I think isn't ahead? Isn't that one word? And I'm like, not for us.
That's brilliant.
The great thing about this now, this next year it'll be different. I do have it locked in to have it again. Pardon me, for next year. But this billboard is 9 by 20. Nice. It's kind of a weird size for a billboard, but
it's an old one.
But yeah, it's a real old one that they wouldn't even have if it weren't for me, because it sat empty and decrepit for like 10 years. And I called up the company whose name was on, and they're like, we don't have a billboard there. And I'm like, yeah, you do. And they came out and investigated and found out they did. They'd forgotten about it.
Because nobody had been interested in it for years.
So anyway, yeah, so we got it going again. We got the trees cut down that had grown up around it and everything. But anyway, so we're this year, part of our expansions, we're building a merchandise building booth. It's not a booth. It's a 14 by 20 building.
Right.
That they can come in and buy merchandise and things like that. The east wall, which faces the parking lot, will happen to be 9 feet tall and 20 feet long. So guess what's going to be on the side of that building?
The skin from that.
Yeah. And then we'll have a new one out there, and maybe swap them each year. I don't know yet.
That's super cool, man.
There's one other thing on that billboard that I wanted to talk about, and this is a shot. Now, this is not our crew. It is some of our crew. We have a friend, another haunt that we have worked with since the beginning, because the two of us opened up at the same time, named Madness in Council Bluffs, which is north of us, just across the river from Omaha. And we've always worked together. We've always been friends. They come down. My actors go up there on their nights out, things like that. We do little events together. The gentleman that owns that haunt just bought another haunt in Lincoln, outside of Lincoln. Eagle, Nebraska.
Really? One of our other show hosts lives in Lincoln.
Oh, does he? Okay. Well,
yeah, she loves haunts, but she's epileptic, so she hasn't been able to do a lot with them, but she loves them.
So Eagle Hollow in Lincoln, they're the only scream park in Nebraska. They have 3 actual individual attractions. That's how you can buy tickets to each one. They have an adult area where there's a bar. It's a full haunted attraction. So he bought that, and so the 3 of us started working together. This is from a concert that the local rock alternative station that's run by the college, Iowa Western. Yeah, Iowa Western.
The river.
The river, yeah. So we had a big booth thing set up, and these are some of the people that were manning it and having a good time. But we formed what we call Terror Trinity.
Nice.
And we work together now it's been told to me that Brian, the other owner, is like, yeah, people keep going. So what's the deal? You own 3 of them now or whatever? And he's like, no, we're just friends. We just work together because that's how we should be.
Yeah, that's how it should be done.
Work friendly.
Always.
We advertise together.
We
do all
actually
that.
sell multi-pass tickets so that you can pay once and hit all 3 haunts.
That's
And
brilliant.
at Eagle Hollow, you can also do 1, 2, or 3 parts of their haunts,
yeah. So
depending on how much you want to spend on your tickets.
Honestly, it's actually 5 attractions that were, but 3 of them are all in the same screen park. But we formed this, and so you don't know this, what I'm going to say, because I haven't told you yet.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the flip.
No, I was shooting another movie last night off in where was I? Bellevue, up in Omaha, and ran into some people that I knew sort of from Mystery Manor, which was a long time historical, of Mystery Manor.
36 years.
Yeah, everybody knows Mystery Manor, man.
Right. Well, Bill, who'd been there for 39 years, since before it opened and all that, was did an extra also. We got talking. He goes, wait, he doesn't own Sinister Sydney too? I'm like, no, I own Sinister Sydney. We're just friends. But nobody's ever heard of non-related haunts working together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're trying to promote that, and these other haunts around here, they've been really good with us. We have haunt nights where they invite the other haunts out to see things, stuff like that. And do everything. But yeah, we actually sell combo passes, and he's talking about doing a bus that you get on in Lincoln. You get that one and back over here for a cost, to ride a party bus kind of thing.
What would you say the distance is between like the 2 farthest haunts away?
It is 40 miles from here to Lincoln.
Okay.
It is 30 miles to Madness.
I think so.
So, I mean, it's an all-night thing. It's a takeoff at 6 o'clock, get here at 7, go through, because we're about an hour trip through. Then they jet up to Council Bluffs. Theirs is at least a good 45 minutes theirs.
And then they go, they're always expanding.
Right. And then would go to Lincoln and finish up there, because that way they have all 3 haunts to go through. That's where the car is, things like that.
You need to get on this Pyle.
Yeah, it's
for real.
I'm jotting as we go.
Yeah. That's actually something
it's what we want to do.
Yeah.
It's just we have to get other haunts that want to go and do this with us.
Yeah.
Right.
And the owner for the haunt that I work for, because I'm our acting manager at Hell's Dungeon. Okay. When he opened Hell's Dungeon 5 years ago, his business plan was coming to the haunts in our area and saying, hey, I want to promote all of you guys as much as I try to promote myself, and I want to do a party bust. And they laughed at him. They thought it was the dumbest idea. But ever since then, Ohio is hitting another haunt renaissance, because you can't throw a quarter down the street without hitting 20 haunts in Ohio.
Right.
And with the OHA coming back strong and everything, like a lot more of us are having the industry nights where we pick a day of the week that we're not even normally open, just to open our haunt for all the other haunts to come on their days off.
Yeah.
And we've been wanting to do this whole party bus because we're all connected in all the major cities. Right. So we've been trying to kind of talk about like how we can do this, how we get something like more than just industry night going, like something like that, and
get a public thing where you can bust up to
a
haunt tour. Gee, we've never heard of that, have we, Pyle?
No, never.
You probably keep constantly talking about that too.
We do not speak about his name. He is coming to the show.
I'm not speaking the name. I am not.
Want me to do it?
No,
I'm kidding.
Don't speak the name.
I'll just randomly say it, I know what we're talking about.
Love him dearly, but won't speak the name.
Yeah, don't speak the name. So I did bring some other pictures. I'm gonna just go.
Oh yeah.
Zoom in, zoom out. How do I zoom out?
I don't know.
Oh, there we
Step
go.
1: believe in yourself.
I wanted to go through a few.
Yeah.
F11. No more borders. This I had tossed in a few, and now most of these are actually from 2022 because I couldn't find my 2023 folder.
Right.
And then right before we started, I found out it was out on that drive that I had shared with you. It was a different folder out on that drive. So I was going to try and download everything and get it back in here. But that anyway, so a lot of these are 2022s. But like this is our Witcher Shack. This was the second facade that we built out there for the area.
It's only what, 3 foot deep?
Yeah, it's about 3 foot deep.
Yeah.
But it's a good storage area back behind it. It's backlit. It has a pond out front with a running fluorescent UV water in it, you know, nice green and a little bit of fog or smoke. Actually, we have nice torches up.
We tried a pond one time, and that year was the highest water bill Mom and Dad's ever had. And they said never again, because every single time it would get a hole in it.
Oh yeah, no, this is I actually dug this out of my yard. They had 2 fish ponds up by the house up here. And there's no fish in them or anything. And I got a little tired of them just being there. And I'm like, all right. So I dug it up and drug it down there and put it together. And it's held real well.
Oh, yeah.
The next 2 that are going to come on here are videos. They're the only videos in here. They're short, 15 and 11 seconds long. We are a bio haunt. Okay. we rely on our actors, and we rely on nature, and we rely on real. We don't have, I have a few animatronics, don't get me wrong.
But most of them are dead now.
Yeah, well, we have a section just for the dead animatronics even. But we are a bio hunt. We have bio props, we call them. This is Iowa. This is small town. Hi, Angel. One of our actors. That is Angel. But we collect things like roadkill and skeletons, and you know it's burning season right now where they burn a lot of the fields, and then people will go out and bone hunt, and so we get mummies and skeletons and things, and we use them. I have a grill area that
they're all his old dead grills.
Anyway, I had just put, like the week before, a fresh raccoon on the grill, and I walked by to check it because I always close them up until the thing, and I opened it up and I saw this and I had to record it because it just looks so freaking cool.
And you can't fake it.
A trigger warning, people, maybe, I don't know if you have those kind of triggers. But yeah, I'm clicking the wrong one. There we go. Play. Why aren't you playing? Try the next one. Why?
Try that one.
Oh, damn it. I had that big old shoot in and.
Well, modern technology failed you again.
You know what? Technology's awesome when it works.
I'll see if I can add them.
It's the 2 MP4s.
Yeah, give me a minute to see if I can add them while we're all talking.
Okay. So yeah, we're here and hi. But so we love nature, and there's and it's just natural stuff. Everything is ethically collected. It's not, you know, it's our very first season we had or that first opening night, I had put up a 20-foot cross and we had a demon on it, and a local butcher had donated this really cool ram's head, and it was fresh, you know, and I'd put it in the freezer, and then the day before I drilled a hole in it and put it on a spike and what have you. Anyway, and this red robe thing underneath it. I didn't realize come wintertime when all the leaves left the tree that it was in full view of the highway.
You could see it from the road.
Now, yeah, you could see it from the road. Now, we left it up there and we let it decay on its own, and it lasted a good 4 or 5 years before it fell apart. But one of the things we haven't met, they call me Reverend Michael for a reason. I am a Christian minister in a small town. I came from a big town. I have a past, you know, I'm a recovered addict and all that kind of thing. So
we both are.
I already stirred the pot when I came here. And then the Christian minister has a haunted attraction with this big goat-headed demon on a cross facing the highway as you drive. best publicity we could
Yeah.
ask for.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome.
It's Hell's Dungeon. We get a night or two here and there. We'll get the picketers, but we'll come out in costume and just say hi. Or we're sorry. We're not trying to offend you. We apologize. And we bring them bottled water. Like Fred has this. Like come out and we can bring them bottled water if they want bottled water. If they want some snacks while they're picketing, we'll leave it on the ground so we don't offend you. And they'll usually walk over and grab it, and we just kind of give them space to be respectful of them as well. And usually it lasts for like 20-30 minutes after we give them food and water, and they realize that we're actually very nice human beings and we're not actually worshiping Satan. So it just takes a minute.
We have a fundamentalist Christian church here in town.
Yeah.
And some of them really are wonderful people, good Christian, what a Christian should be, kind of a deal. One of those couples lived right across the street from me. And although they wouldn't come, they would sit out on their porch on opening nights. And they were super friendly. And I talked to them, and he said, we love sitting out here. And you can tell where in the haunt they are by what's screaming and when this sound kicks off. And they would just get the biggest kick out of sitting out there listening to the screams and the laughter and the yelling and the growls. And it was awesome.
Yeah,
I got your videos up. They processed just fine.
Okay, cool.
The black and white or the color one first?
Do the black and white one first, because I think it's the coolest, and then you can see the detail.
Alrighty. And again, trigger warning just in case for you guys.
Yeah.
That's fishing bait right there.
Right? Right? And you can't fake the smell. I'm sorry, Froggy's Fog. You don't have the scent.
Yeah, you don't. I don't know how our hillbillies handle it, because we always find some roadkill to throw on the grill every year.
And here is the one in color.
From the old schools there.
Right.
So what kind of lighting do you use on that?
In that, well, okay, so again, old school, old theater. I work with I have to go to LED lighting now because it's hard to get incandescents.
Yeah.
Right.
But I used you can still smell it, yeah. I use base colors, and there's a secondary reason for that. I use red, blue, and green.
Sometimes yellow.
In rare cases where I really want bright, I use yellow, and I use clamp lights. I call them pan lights.
Yeah.
90% of my lighting is that, but I do it because they're natural colors. And the way I light is from up in the trees, so a lot of flooding type of dull flooding going through. I want it to be natural, so I don't have spotlights on things. It's a very low light, like you're walking out in the moonlight is what I try and get. I've got, let's see where it's at. Where's the next one? Let me go ahead and let me show you a couple more of these pictures here, and you'll see what kind of lighting I'm talking about. Here's one of the rare dimmer white lights. Yeah, if you could bring that one, the sharing one back up.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
He's working on it.
He's working on it. He's got his flip back.
I got
over.
you.
Okay, there we go. Yes, that's a Home Depot
Giant spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been standing out there year round for
8 years.
Well, I don't know when it came out, but
Yeah.
I think it's 4 years, 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, when they first came out.
I like chroma. You know what I mean? Chroma depth.
Yes.
I make real chroma depth. Now, I said there's a secondary reason for me using these colors. I am colorblind. I have no green cones. I do not see green. Okay. I see what people have told me is green, so I can perceive it. But when I look at this, I don't see it yet. Sorry. When I look at this, I see the depth in that without the glasses. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So there's another one coming up that just blow. Yeah, this one here. This moves for me when my head moves. That tree is so far back behind Fabala in the front that but I use a lot of that. Okay, there's her again. That actually was off of Haunt Night, but
That was the first building.
yes,
we built.
this was
the
the
first
first
facade we built.
This
Okay.
was. It's called the Tappan Shack. It's our hillbilly building. It is not called. We do have a lot of innuendos in our.
You
in
have
our
to.
It's called the Tappan Shack because my contractor's last name is Tappan,
Okay, cool.
and so it's the Tappan Shack. But that's our hillbilly shack. There's our House of Pain, which originally was a vortex tunnel, a spinning vortex tunnel.
Until winter took it out.
Yep.
Winter took it out. Thousands of pounds of snow on top of the building crushed it. You can actually see over here. This used to be round. There's the bottom part of it that used to be round, and it all got crushed. And the bridge was too cool, so I put a tarp over the damn thing and reused it.
Hell yeah.
We've put in some bridges over area. This is kind of our little
Where we
junkyard.
got dips and stuff that people could trip in. We tend to put bridges across them.
Now, it is a natural trail. We warn people this is a nature trail. You have to watch your step, but we do try and make it as safe as possible.
Yeah.
Like here's another one. This is one that got added a couple years ago. Derek's Shaft. Okay. Again, we're talking about, but this is our mine shaft. And it started out as a fairly simple mine with the illusion of going underground and coming back out. And it was a fairly simple mine, and people still were getting lost in it for 15, 20, 30 minutes.
Next year it was much bigger.
Yeah, so we expanded it to about 400 square feet of no more than 30-inch wide, and the whole thing. Nobody got out at all.
Derek said one person found their way out.
One person found their way out on their
without
own.
help.
Yeah,
I love that.
So we're simpling it a little bit this year.
Scaling it back just a little bit.
You saw the circus tent. This is part of our Scarecrow Alley. In the back
photo op.
Yeah, and this is one of our photo ops here with where people can. We tell them no photos or anything except at the photo ops, and they can
Right.
come here and have clowns around them, although they don't realize. And one of the granddaughters takes their picture for them and then runs away with the camera.
And the daughter creeps up behind him and photobombs them.
This is one of our little UV areas,
which is actually not going to be.
Oh, this is
We are gutting that area and redoing it.
Yeah,
Right.
A whole different type of a scene.
Oh, nice. Dragon.
And then we have the dragon tunnel, and people go, "Why do you have a dragon tunnel in Haunt?" I said, "Because dragons."
Do you
Shut
need a
up.
reason?
We love dragons.
Who doesn't love
It's a
dragons?
fucking dragon. I mean, why don't all
was-
haunts have dragons is the question.
This was originally a PVC tunnel. I've got a couple of them. Is 20 feet long, about 8.5 feet tall, 10 feet wide, tarped over, made out of PVC. And we found a greenhouse that the frame for a greenhouse that they said, "Come and get it. You tear it apart, it's yours."
We tore it apart and brought it home.
We brought it
Hell
home.
yeah.
So it's now 20 feet wide, 30 feet long, and about 15
You
feet
don't
tall.
have a picture of the cool dragon that Michaela made.
I
do
do
you?
not.
Okay.
Most of these are for 20.
We got real lucky between Cody,
One of our kids.
one of our kids, well, adult kids. He happened across a couple of full cow skeletons. My
Nice.
daughter took them and wired them up, and from the top rafter of it, made the coolest freaking dragon skeleton you've ever seen out of these two
She
cow
made a
skeletons.
sculpture.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. She did
And
do
it's
it.
in there too.
There's our cemetery again.
It's
This
expanded this year.
It's actually
Last
gotten
year.
a lot bigger. Yeah, see, this was 2022 because
Yeah.
it's still all here. It's much deeper now.
Much bigger.
It is a real cemetery, and we let everybody know this is the only haunted attraction in at least the east or western Iowa that has a real cemetery on the grounds. We don't mention it's a pet cemetery, but
Cemetery's a cemetery, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it is a real cemetery, and it is. It's on the markers. Mulberry Grove. It's been named. You can look for cemeteries around here, and you'll find it.
We do have 4 actual military stones that we very carefully researched when they were given to us. They were all replaced either by an exact replica for the one that was broken, or when the wife passed, they removed
Or when they got married.
when they would remove the man stone and then put up one for both of them.
Right.
So
It's
these
awesome
were
to be
all,
able to honor that, man.
these have
That's
all
so
been
cool.
replaced, but we are able to honor a few veterans this way.
Very awesome.
They're not really there, but yeah.
In spirit, man, you know.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
go ahead.
I do want to just point out that we are halfway, and we do have to take a small little break,
Oh, all right. All right. We're good.
and then we'll come right back into your wonderful slideshow here, because trust me,
loving
I'm
this.
loving this.
Yeah.
In
I am
fact,
too.
me and Raz has just been like looking at each other going, we got to take a break, but we don't want to.
Yeah, we were like,
We wanna
negative
see
5
this.
minutes.
Well,
The pictures
I
are
wanna-
amazing.
since we're going to take a break, I want to tell everybody I thank you very much for letting me join in on this, because I am a rural route mail carrier, and 4 years ago I was in a nasty accident, screwed up my back really bad. I can't sit in this chair much longer, so
Right.
after the break, it'll just be the wonderful Reverend Gravedigger.
It's definitely been an honor
So
and a
happy to
pleasure.
meet you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Lori. I'm going to mess it up every single time. It is always a pleasure seeing you, even when you sneak into the chat.
I have to once in a while.
Love having you.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much for letting me join you.
So
Anytime.
we'll be right back after we get our commercials out of the way, because apparently someone's paying something.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I don't have the button for the commercial.
Roll it.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Well, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Redoctopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Dorking Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Octopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
And welcome back. Wow, look at that chair spin.
Right? Ghost.
What?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a TikTok Vine that you had?
The chair spin?
The chair spin.
Yeah, that was one of my virals using "Coming to Take Me Away." That was one of my first TikToks that I ever did, and it went viral. Viral, whatever. It had over 1 million views on it.
It did.
Oh, yeah.
And then they pulled the audio.
That sucks.
You gotta love that.
Yeah, I've had that happen on a few of them. Stuff they supplied.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Facebook does the same thing. Stuff they supply, and then they'll pull it when somebody complains about the copyright on it.
Yep.
It's like, why
Every
didn't
time.
you have that worked out ahead of time?
Right.
I've had my own my old band. I've had our music pulled for me using it, and I'm like, but wait a minute, I own the rights to
Right.
what? And I've had to like prove it. I'm like, what? My name is on everything. Like what?
I had one of my own mixes. Somebody said it was they had the copyright on this chunk that was actually a sound effect that I created out of recordings from our woods and sound effects that I bought and had the license to.
Right.
And I made a mix, and they said that it matched a section of somebody's album somewhere that they had, and I fought it and I won.
Hell yeah. Because then it's just the principle of the matter at that point. It's like, motherfucker, like this is mine, and no.
Middle button push.
Yeah, and I've bought licenses to music and used it as licensed and had not ASCAP, but there's somebody else that like tries to grab
EMI, ASCAP, and then there's 2 other ones that pretty much just do the clips for like streaming music and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's one of those that tries to get it. And I fight them. I say, no, I have the rights to this. And they usually within a day or two, it's back up and going.
Yep. The damage has also been done because it kills all the upward momentum.
Right.
And sometimes I wonder, honestly, if people are just going around like, oh, this is starting to get popular, more popular than what I'm doing. Let me complain to give me an advantage for a day.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I hate to think like that about people, but I've seen people do this. So it's like, man, come on.
And a lot of times it's just the algorithm too. So
that as well. But pictures, we have more pictures?
Sure.
More pictures. I love these
So
pictures.
this was the first building that I converted. Okay, so the property itself, my house that I'm in that's on the property is 127 years old. It was not originally, but it was soon after that owned by the first grocer here in town in Sydney. Sydney was 1870 was when it was established 1856 or something, and 1870 is when it officially is city. Anyway, he grew his own meat, and this was his hog shed. And so this building itself is over 100 years old and still standing, which is beautiful, wonderful. And it was the first thing I converted. Broke up a couple of the stalls, made little things. And if you've seen any of the Haunt Chat Live, one of the show that I used to do, any of those singing promos, those were done in the doctor's office that was inside. In fact, it's right down here at this is the doctor's office right there where I shot those.
Very nice. If you guys have never seen Haunt Chat Live, the songs that he used to do to promote what was coming up was
way more popular than the show ever was.
Make a soundtrack, man. Sell it.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
I don't know if you came up with all the lines you were going to say.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I picked every once in a while somebody would suggest a song, but otherwise I'd pick the song, I'd rewrite the word. I always loved Weird Al and things like that. And I've been writing parodies since I was a kid, rewriting songs. And so it was just a fun thing to do and awesome. A challenge.
I love that.
But yes, so that was all shot in here. This little front area, this is the doll room. Now, again, it's grown a lot. There are a lot more dolls in here. We found that a few of the dolls that we had acquired, we had one person local that dropped us off a couple hundred dolls that came out of her grandmother's attic, and her grandmother was from the Oh, way back when everything, the stock markets fell and everybody was.
The Depression?
So the Depression, thank you.
Gotcha.
She hoarded dolls. She could never have a doll as a kid. Anyway, so we got a whole ton of dolls to put in there. Turns out some of them were actually haunted. Okay. So we only had like one girl that would act in that room and she enjoyed it. And then so we kind of started collecting that. It's no Warren's Museum, but we started collecting haunted dolls and putting them in that area. I now have 2 people who can handle being in that room for any length of given time. Pardon me.
But it doesn't have to be the Warren's Museum because it's the Ross Museum.
There you go. There you go. Sinister Museum.
There you go.
So we have the property itself is said to be haunted. The house is got things, but we live and coexist with them. It's no big deal for us. But I will tell you, every night when I open up and shut down this room, I say hello, I say goodnight, and I say thank you. I'm not taking no chances. I ain't pissing nobody off.
Do you ever do
What?
spirit box sessions?
Well, we've had a couple paranormal groups out here. And they get hits all the time, all around the property. So it's just, I don't see it as a big thing. I believe in it. I know they're out there. I've seen too much not to believe in it. So it's just, I don't want to piss anybody off. And so it's, hi, how you doing? Gonna have a fun time tonight. And when I shut down tonight, thank you all for your help. And we'll see you tomorrow. Just like anybody else.
Yep. Call that covering the bases, man.
That's right. This is just a little area coming off that actually leads into the hog shed. It's over here. That we have now turned into, we had another area that was a playground that we also raised kids in. Some of the younger kids, there was one adult supervision for that area, and then younger ones that wanted to work here that were too young to come through, but they could work here. So I made them a playground, and kids are creepy. So it works great. So anyway, this has grown into, it's got a swing set and doll houses and all kinds of stuff around here for this year. This is part of our spider hollow. That's where that giant spider is. You can see him over here too. We actually have a couple of them in there. This is fun. This area is fun to do. We finally built a frame over through here. It was all natural. We would web it and web it correctly, but of course wind, rain, snow over the season would destroy it. We built one section that's actually framed, but we web it every other year, and then we let nature take its course. So when you walk through, it's not guaranteed that it's a fake web you're walking through, because the spiders like it. They move into that stuff and they build on it.
Are we talking about still this building?
No. I'm sorry. This is another section called Spider Hollow. Oh,
okay.
Wait. Why are you not seeing?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Let me hold on. Let me try removing it and bringing it back up. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah, it's still this.
Okay, here. Let me try this. Let me show you. Let me stop showing that window.
Because I was confused. I was like, wait a minute. He's talking about a different area.
I know, and I was like, hey, that sounds pretty cool, but I don't know what you're all talking about because you're talking about a spider.
Sure.
We went from dolls to spiders.
Right, we'll try, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks sweet, man.
Okay, yeah. Again with the chroma, a bit. I like the blues. I like the greens. I like the reds. They all give a different vibe. This one, I have a blue light that is literally 25 feet up in a tree, pointing down. So it's a major flood, but it looks like the moon through the webs and stuff.
Right.
That's a great light effect, man. I love that.
This one will actually give me a nightmare.
Good. That's what it's supposed to do. Here's another shot of the witch's hut. This one's a couple years older, I could tell, because of the way the pond is. We do have natural torches. This is our the end of our queue line. And this is my post. I am not just the owner; I'm the host also. And so this is where I get to give my spew about what you can do and what you can't do. This one right here, I wanted it to say "Don't be a dick." My wife said no.
That's like one of my mottos, man. Don't be a dick. I say this to people, like I say this to the hunters, like all of our hunters, like kids that I'm like, hey, we have the don't be a dick rule. Okay, just follow it, and we're good.
Well, okay, so I'm a minister, and I'm also a recovered addict, 23 years. And I tell people, it doesn't matter what set of rules you go by, whether it's the 12 steps or the 10 commandments or whatever other set of things, they all boil down to one thing. Don't be a dick.
They do.
Right.
So that's how I live my life. But they come up here, I read them the rules, and then they move up and move through. We saw the ticket booth. This queue line has majorly changed since then also. It's now got more room for people. My favorite picture, I had to put it in there because this is my absolute favorite picture.
It's beautiful.
She's gorgeous. The youngest. Some of our actresses. These are actually the 3 actresses that are allowed to scream. We are not an in-your-face screaming loud haunt.
I love that, by the way.
These are the 3 that are allowed to. They know how to do it. They do it right. I don't want everybody screaming. One, because I hate it when I go through a haunt and people are just in my ear, hurting my ear. Screaming and spraying water are not mine. I hate it when I get wet. It's annoying.
We have the scream rule too, man. Like we only have a couple because when Fred comes through, he's like, "Why are there like 8 people screaming?" I'm like, "I don't know. There should only be 2. Let me go back and go through the security pathways in my radio and find out what's going on right now because we don't do that."
Why so many?
Right.
These two we call the twins. They cover one area, and in the hospital area, which is an outdoor hospital. So we're on a trail. And they do a great job working together. And if any of you know who Elysium is.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. You know who Elysium is.
She's threatened to give me a bone.
Yes. So she loves giving the bone. Because everybody pretty much looks like they need to get boned. But she's our main queue line actress. This girl has grown over the last couple of years. Major introvert, just things like that. And she has worked on coming out of her shell and being social, and she's now the head of my social media.
That is amazing, man. I always say that, like, pretty much in the last 30 years, haunting and Dungeons and Dragons are probably what saved my entire life and taught me all the social skills I needed, like as a child and as an adult, probably.
Yeah, therapy, man.
Yep. Free therapy. That's what we call haunt season.
I see Angel had said the playground is my favorite area. That's her area where she works at when she's here. This is a shot back in the Scarecrow Alley. Again, just nature. This is a big feeder. We have corn back there that we plant every year just so we have some. And use a lot of natural lighting, natural looking lighting at least. Yeah. And that's the last one that I have up there. Right. Yeah. Right. So I guess it's then okay. Wait. Now that we did that, I guess now mine works.
Yeah. Might have just been a signal issue earlier or something. StreamYard does that once in a while.
I don't know what one, but see, I have a combination. There was a rubber rat in there, but the every year I add to it because everything, how dead does, it decays away.
Yep.
And so I have 2 grills that have that down in the hillbilly area.
Nice.
One is a black and white and one is a colored.
There you go.
One was made in the 2000s.
So
the other one was made.
Friday, I know you sent us a message a while back. Please go ahead and ask that question that you right before me and Raz started taking over our private chat here.
I was wondering what your funniest hot story was.
Hot story or haunt story?
Haunt. Your funniest haunt story.
Well, it depends on who you are, on if you think it's funny or not.
Okay.
We personally think it's hysterical. Okay, so we give out pins. Now, pretty much everybody in the haunted industry knows what a code yellow, a code brown, things like that are. If you don't, then why are you watching? But if you do,
If you don't know, you haven't had to clean it up yet.
yeah, we wonderful company, Scarlet Badges. We get lots of badges through them. They have patches, they do pins, they do, and we have these little. I peed myself at Sinister Sydney, and I pooped myself at Sinister Sydney. But we have an actual tally board up at the ticket booth that everybody coming in can see how many code yellows, how many code browns. We have code whites. Those are for chickens. Now, we do not have a chicken exit. Once you're in, you're in. Okay, you have to go all the way through to get out. And I say that, yes, if there's an emergency, something like that, yes, we can get you out. But as far as the standard patron, once you're in, or you turn around and try and work your way back through to get back to the exit. So we have code white, chicken out. We have code pink is fetal position. Our second or third year, we actually had a haunt actress from another haunt in one of the scenes have an anxiety attack and end up in the fetal position. And we had to basically carry her out because she couldn't handle 3 scenes. You're an actor. You should know. Anyway. And then we also have code green, which is barf.
Oh,
Some people, that's how that's how their body reacts to it. They get sick.
Right on the actor sometimes too, and that's always fun to clean up.
Yeah, that's always fun. No, we had a night when Elysium and one of our other main actresses down in the Hillbilly area, Stabby Tabby.
Oh, yes.
Love that alliteration.
She came, somebody had come through, a group came through with one gentleman who was not having a good day. Okay, we'll just say he wasn't having a good day. He was not reacting well to everything going on. And they chased him out, and he ran up on top of his car. Now, the parking lot is right outside the exit. He ran from them out. And so, as we also don't let up. We don't let up. We're not annoying. But if you're scared, we're going to just keep scaring you. Okay, that's just the way it is.
Yep.
And they followed him. They chased him. They were on each side of the car. The gentleman barfed, pissed, and shit himself on top of his own car.
That's a way to do it.
We call that the code black when it's all 3. Yeah.
It was awesome. I think he might have slipped and passed out also. But I can't confirm that. But that was one of the all-time favorite stories. The other one is when I got arrested for backing up my people, but that's not a funny story. And again, I'm not telling that one. So
last year I am very happy, and it was great because all the people that have radios at our haunt could hear it be announced. As I told somebody, stop, they're done, leave them alone. And he started coming. I said, dude, she's passed out. Like, she passed out. And he said, how's that happen? I said, because it was me. I've made them pass out. I've made them faint. I've made them this and that. Oh, she was out for probably about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
We got her to the front, and I told her, I said, we're going to get you a bottle of water. And she was like, okay.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, is this how you Ohio people do? What are you talking about? And they told me, we're all from Indiana. We came just to see you.
Oh.
I said, well, you know what? That's pretty nice to actually have such a nice feeling about that. And they said, well, actually, you're the closest haunt that we have to us.
Oh, yeah.
So that it was really nice. It was really wonderful. She didn't think so. And I told her boyfriend, I said, if you don't get out of her face while she's recovering, she might see you. She might mistake you for me. And then out goes the lights again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let them go.
Like I've said, haunt safety is a key factor at our haunt.
Yep.
We want you guys to have a great time. We want you guys to remember stuff and say, hey, I did this, or possibly pass out and not remember a thing. Both are acceptable.
However you choose to interact with it.
Across the board through the haunt. So a lot of, we don't just rely on startle scares or things like that. We actually decided right near the beginning, we go for phobias. Is the main right? Well, what's the theme of your haunt? I'm old school. My first haunt actor job was a Star Wars cantina scene. Okay, this is back in the day when it was a bunch of lads. And my very first night, I had an alien mask on, and some lady came in there and screamed and sprayed me in the face with mace into my mask.
Oh.
Now, this is my first night ever being a haunter, so I didn't know any better, and I acted the rest of the night with the mace going on. But anyway, we do phobias. We actually cover like 27 different phobias, including stage fright, which is one people tend to forget about.
Yeah, that's a big one for a lot of people.
So yeah, let us know ahead of time if you're afraid of something or
an interactive scene with test taking. I bet you scare the shit out of a lot of people with that, man.
Well, that's a lot like stage fright, being put in the spotlight kind of.
Yeah, that's true. That is similar, yeah.
So we love to work that and keeping it all within the natural aspect of it. Like I said, we don't rely on the animatronics. Lori had brought up they die. I have one area that I have like a stage. And that's where we put our dead, and it's the graveyard of animatronics is what it is. And then there may or may not be a couple mannequin actors within that area too. Of course,
there it is. Someone's beat me to it.
Yeah. Well, that was always my favorite scare was the mannequin stuff when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
The second haunt I worked in, I was a werewolf in a werewolf scene. And I stood on top of a stump. And this is back in the day when you walk through and all scenes they had a guardrail. And it's before people were walking through scenes like they've opened up nowadays.
Right.
So I would stand on the stump and I would just pose. And I'd let half of them go through and not do a thing. I looked like a cool mannequin. And when somebody would come up and go, oh, he's fake, and knock on my hand, the whole thing would start to topple, and I'd leap on top of the guardrail in front of them.
That is brilliant, man.
And bring those things up. I used to mannequin model when I was a little kid, so I got used to.
Oh yeah. My son-in-law, he is in our animatronic scene where it's just a room. It's the beginning of like the dark part of the circus. It's all just a room full of the dead animatronics, and he's got a stage where you have to actually walk up and press a button. It plays the old school like 70s animatronic music. But he learned and studied all the videos from 70s animatronics and learned how to move exact. So he's like, he even does like the little jerk a little bit to make you think he's not functioning a little. Does the whole shtick. And right at the end, light goes off, music stops, and he just freezes. And then you go look at the animatronics, but you have to go back past him to get out. And that's when he comes to life. I have physically stood in one of our security paths. I watched a grown man who a scene before was talking it up for his girlfriend drop to the ground and shit himself just immediately.
I seen a grown man jump into his son's arms. That was hysterical. The boy was probably 16 or 17, but I mean, he was a good sized kid. I think he was bigger than the dad. Stabby Tabby got him, and he turned around and he leapt up like a little baby right into his son's legs wrapped around the waist. It was awesome.
That is epic.
It's
So
go ahead.
I want to give you the opportunity because I know you are pretty happy with the river.
Yes.
And I wanted to go ahead and give you opportunity since I know how much you love being a person that's on the radio for the river. So what's the radio station?
Let's
Okay,
talk about it.
it's 89.7 The River. They're a 100,000 watt station out of the local community college. They are one of the number one alternative radio stations in the entire country. Okay, they are fantastic. They are great people. They hold these fantastic concerts and things out there. They're the only people up until last year that I've ever advertised with. And because I like doing it, because you don't buy advertising with a community radio. You underwrite. You donate to them, and then they give you some whatever's tossed in here and there and what have you, to compensate. Good evening, John.
Hey, John.
But they are on. I think they're on iTunes. They have their own app, and the website is 897theriver.com. Or you can go to Iowa Western Community College's site to find. You can listen to them online, and they play my song. I did the Gravedigger. His theme song is Behind Blue Eyes because he has blue eyes, and I found a very little known a cappella version done by a Russian. I think the Russian group, 2x2 Radio, and found an a cappella, and I did a remix of it with haunt sounds and things like that, and they actually play it for me every Halloween season. And so the Gravedigger remix of and it's funny because it's a remix of a cover of a cover of, because their a cappella version is of the Limp Bizkit version,
right,
of Behind Blue Eyes. So it's they like it because it's like 4 generations down.
Right.
But I love 89.7 The River. They're the one I listen to all the time.
That's amazing, man.
And they're good people. They're very good people. Been with them for a long time.
Absolutely. And I thought it was great because when you go and you see the pictures or the videos of him in the radio station, just absolutely, you can just see how happy he is to be on the radio. His character comes out, and oh my gosh, it's just awesome to see the videos.
My mom was in radio and television growing up. And so I grew up in the studios and stuff. And to get to actually go and I grew up being the little kid running around the studios and what have you.
Right.
So to get to be part of that is really neat for me. She was actually friends with Wolfman Jack.
Oh.
And I didn't realize how that had affected me throughout my life. Because, when you're talking to the Gravedigger, he's kind of, and he really is kind of a salesman. And I don't know if you ever actually listened to any Wolfman Jack shows, but he did a lot of sales. He did a lot of he did his own commercials and that, right? And his beard wasn't quite as long, but it was the same style of beard going on. And I had no idea how having that early access to him had affected me throughout my life going on.
Right.
I know he's one of the people that got me into wanting to be a radio DJ. Like I was a kid, cause my parents had all this stuff, and I was just growing up in the early 80s, oh my God, what is this? Who is this? And I would get into everything. And then in our area on the AM station, they still played on Friday nights the original audio dramas, The Shadow, From Beyond, stuff like that. And then as I got a little older, I kind of did the Howard Stern switch. So I had Wolfman Jack and Howard Stern's I got to do this. And I went to broadcasting college. I started college at 16 at a broadcasting school. Love radio is amazing, man. I miss it. That's why I do all the podcasting now.
Has a whole broadcast course, and that's where they get their DJs from. That's part of those guys get to work in the radio station, and they grow out of there. My favorite DJ there is Corey in the afternoons. And he was actually a student there I don't know, 12, 15, 20 years. I have no idea how long he's been there. But that's the gentleman, Pyle, that I always go in and I do his show. That's Corey. He's
That's
just
so
kind of my
cool,
buddy.
man.
I like him. Him and his girl come out every year to the haunt and they're friends. You bringing that up, the 89.7 The River, and then I talk about things that are affected. So both Lori and I have been in theater since we were kids. We're part of an Explorers Post, and I've been doing that. And Pyle, you know about this. Just recently, a couple of years ago, I started producing movies. Now, that sounds a lot better than it really is. All that means is you give them some money to help them do what they're doing. Okay. It's not the producer that's there helping with the script and making decisions. It's the executive producers.
Yeah.
Everybody out there who thinks that executive producers are like these big, no, they gave some money. That's,
Yep.
But I got to start meeting people and I got to start networking. And I'm now, I told you earlier before we started, if I seem a little out of it, if I lose track, it's because I'm a little tired. I've only had 4.5 hours sleep.
Right.
Well, it's because I was shooting another movie last night that I didn't get home and cleaned up from till 11:30 at last night. I've gotten involved. I love indie. It's just indie ones, and Hodgebob Productions is a semi-local indie. Well, they're Omaha, Council Bluffs area, so they're local. Indie production company, and they make trauma style movies.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Be is my life, man.
Attack of the 50-foot sphincter from outer space. Okay, that's one of their big ones. They started out with the after lunch special, and right now he's working on the sequel to a movie he did called Babezilla. And
I know Babezilla.
Do you know about Babezilla?
Yeah, I've seen Babezilla. Yep.
You've seen it. I have.
Yes.
Oh, as a matter of fact, this is AJ Chamber. I happen to have the DVD right here.
That is so awesome, man. That's actually in one of our extensive lists. We do another show called Tomb of the Terribles. We watch terrible movies so you don't have to. And we all love B movies.
Right.
And I'm sure that's one of our extended lists because we have lists that are going on our Discord of like 200 movies, I think, at some point.
Well, if you guys haven't seen Attack of the 50-Foot Sphincter, he actually got it aired on Creature Feature too. So on the WB, he managed to get it aired on that. So
oh wow,
that is so awesome, man.
We were shooting the sequel, Babezilla versus the Cyberskanks, Rise of Mechazilla. And so, I got to be an extra. I figured I'm a producer on the show because I like the guy. And so, yes, I give him some money once in a while. But my daughter and I went out to be extras in the show. And so we got to be bloody and we got to see scantily clad and naked women run around. And that was fun. But last weekend, I was in Wayne, Nebraska, shooting another movie. Called Lost Souls, which started out as a short and won a bunch of film festivals and things. And then he's expanded it now and he's turning it into a feature length. And it's a story about brother and sister that are editing a movie and all kinds of things happen. And he ends up dying. The brother it's much more of a drama type thing. Yes. 50-foot sphincter from outer space.
Hey, Ken.
But it's much more of a drama type of a movie. But I got to be in that one as a character, and turns out the movie they were editing was Exodus, which was the first short that I got to work in. My very first ever released movie. With YouTube, search Nathan Blizzard. You'll find it on there. It's awesome. I got to come in and be a real person and then die and become kind of zombie-ish.
Oh yeah, I actually know someone that was in the new Babezilla, Jessa Flux.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're she's someone I don't know her like person, but we've spoken before. And Pyle and I actually making a movie this year, and she's one of the Scream Queens we've actually been talking to about it.
Cool.
She was fantastic, though, man. Like she's just an amazing human being. So when you said Babezilla, I was like, yes,
I know that one.
Yes.
I can't wait for that movie.
That's insane.
So where are we in a time frame? I talk until you tell me to shut up, but there are some things I want to get out before we're done. So
We got about 15, 20 minutes left.
oh geez, okay, fine, never mind. So we'll just keep bullshitting. It's okay.
Our rule is though, like if people need to go, they can leave at any time because me and Pyle are also we also never shut up ever. So
No,
we could just
And the greatest thing is, we do know as this show keeps on going through that we're not going to lose you. So if any time that we go ahead and have someone that cancels on us, maybe we could have you back and we could tell more bullshit stories.
You know, as long as you keep the subject something I know, I will talk on it forever. So as long as it's me, you will not shut me up.
hell yeah, man.
Right.
We love
'Cause
that.
I've been studying my whole life to talk about me.
That's actually a good one.
It's my favorite subject.
That-
You know, I was in. Go ahead, Friday. What?
Does the really cool mannequin behind you have a story?
Yes, actually, he does. That is the Gravedigger, zombie Gravedigger, and the mask itself was created by a gentleman named Alan Hops with Stiltby Studios that he put out as the Gravedigger. That was the name of it because that's the type of character that it was. And I commented on his post. I said, you know, that's really cool mask. It'd be even better if it had a long bicolored beard and a curly mustache on it. And he's like, yeah, I could do that. And so that was specially made for me as and the lighting in here is not the greatest for you to really be able to see that. Oh, come on. Roll, boy, roll. So the outfit he's wearing is my spare Gravedigger outfit. This is my original Gravedigger hat. And his hair is actually the replacement for my hair is thinning. And one day I'm not going to have one. So that's my replacement hair for when that day comes around. So that I can keep the hair. But yes, Alan was wonderful, and he put the mustache on him and the custom beard. And he's got the same buttons that the Gravedigger wears, because again, this is my spare costume that I put on him. And the cats love to get underneath and drag him around also. So much like Chris. And then
That is awesome.
that there is also a custom Gravedigger. Again, made by a friend that is a awesome artist, Richard Burrow.
Oh wow, that is amazing.
Isn't that cool?
That's like that reminds me of an even more terrifying version of like Disney's Haunted Mansion style.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
He
That
had
is so cool.
made it. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I said that is so cool.
Yeah. He had made it and had posted about it being inspired by the Gravedigger, my Gravedigger character. And I fell in love with it, and I said, I don't care what it costs, man. You have to make me one. And he altered it up a little bit, and instead of making me one, he gave me the original.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so cool, man. That's some
So,
respect right there.
Richard is a fantastic. I mentioned that I had to move my cameras around because you can't really see. My whole top shelf up here is full of stuff that he's done.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Are those like worms?
Isn't that cool?
These are
That
veins
is
and
so cool.
worms and everything.
Oh wow.
That is
Looks
so
like-
cool.
Yeah, and you can see like
There's worms in his mouth and in his
I was gonna
nose.
say grubs are like in his mouth and his nose. Like it looks like they're like eating it. Pretty cool. Wow.
Now,
Yeah,
Mike,
that is
I've known you
Sucking in eyes.
for years,
Yes.
and I love your collection of everything.
Okay.
I have never seen that piece with all the detail.
Yeah, we've done. We had one show when he was actually the sponsor of the show, and we gave away one of his skulls. Now, because he does everything from that larger size to even these little smaller ones.
Wow.
Nice.
Ooh. Now you can see the flesh ripping off that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
you can
just-
see like the lower jaw and all. Wow.
He is just a fantastic artist.
He is. Gee, wow.
It's impressive. And that's a lot of small detail in that too. Holy crap.
Oh yeah. Speaking of, so I have a lot of Gravedigger things, right? So I got this for a present. Somebody local made a Gravedigger troll.
Nice.
Adorable.
Gravedigger has trolled you.
My daughter, who works with chainmail and scale mail, made the Gravedigger's top.
Wow.
That is out of chainmail.
That's gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
And it's so tight that it holds its form.
You know, I love seeing her chainmail.
Oh, she does such a fantastic job.
Yeah, she does. It's absolutely amazing what she does. And one of the best things I've ever seen was your wife's your wife's got
nice.
one with scales on it, doesn't she?
That looks like a pop figure.
Yes, she's got, both her and Michaela have some clothing stuff. You're talking about the cape.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not my wife was modeling it in that video. Yes.
Oh.
It's not like a
That
pop
was
figure.
actually a custom piece made for a gentleman.
Ooh.
It ended up weighing 45 pounds. It was a full-length cloak.
Wow.
Made out of chainmail.
Yeah.
Which,
my gosh,
you see, you'd think that you would see them in any Renaissance type thing or whatever, but you really can't. They're unavailable. You can't find a full length, and the reason is they're so freaking heavy.
Right.
But this guy wanted it done, and she did it. It took her long time, but she got it done, and it's because the dude is, I don't know, the dude's like 6 foot or better. So, but that was one of the ones that went viral. It had well over 1.5, 2 million views on it because it hit the Renaissance type people's feeds.
Oh yeah.
And so it was popular. But yeah, so the daughter does scale mail and chainmail stuff. She's got a company called Myth Mail Designs. I'll plug her too. MYTHMAILLE mail designs. She's on Facebook and Discord and all those. She's like her dad. When you hit something, you hit it hard. You go everywhere.
That's awesome.
She's got all those things going on.
I never knew you can do that with chainmail.
Oh yeah, man. You do some cool stuff with chainmail, man.
You can. She does little figurines. I think she from Scorpions, and she's even done a flamingo. She made a bee mobile of these little bumblebees.
Yeah, 'cause every time I hear chainmail, I think about chainmail armor, as in like rigid ones, and then once I seen that, I'm like,
she does that too.
Do it like that?
Yeah, he does that too. Check it out. Mythmail.com, I think. Mythmail, just Google Mythmail Designs. She's got a lot of her big thing is dragons. She makes dragons. And she makes them from these little bitty things that can be keychains to her largest one. I think she just had the person who had bought it brought it back and wanted it made bigger. So it's now like 6.5 feet long.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a dragon. It's a big serpent dragon thing, and wears his around the neck and down and high cap. And
It's like high.
Yeah, she does a lot. That's her favorite thing to do is make dragons.
That's awesome.
You said it's MAILLE.
Yes, it is.
I think I found it. Let's see here.
Excuse me.
Right one.
There's only one of them out there, so
that way it goes out to all our socials as well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
We like when people bring up stuff that they like.
Yeah.
Because absolutely, it's one of those things. I know that the radio station is a big thing to you, and I know how much you love doing it. I know that you guys go and do parade, at least one parade, because I've seen you guys at this parade.
We used to do more, but most of them go on during build season.
Right.
And that is 89.7 The River in Iowa, right?
89.7theriver.com, yeah.
Just want to make sure we're plugging that here too on the socials,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course, man. Like, listen, we're a family. We're not just a haunt family, but anyone that with businesses, like, it takes people like all of us getting together and talking about these things to get them farther out to increase the reach, man.
All right, then we'll say Hodge Bob Productions too, makers of Babezilla, HOJBOB. AJ Chambers, great guy. Him and Tony are wonderful. And okay, and Pyle, Alan Hops.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was talking earlier, and Alan Hops, folks, that's the one who made this mask. I was talking earlier how Raz reminds me of somebody I know named Dave Dare. Tony, that is one of the main producers for Hodge Bob, looks like Alan Hops, like maybe 20 years ago, Alan Hops.
Really?
When he got out of his car and walked up, I thought it was Alan. I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? And it turned out to be Tony, and it was really cool.
That's so cool, man.
I will tell you, the haunt chat community that you put together has been like the biggest inspiration of this show in my eyes. There was so many people I wanted to showcase and this and that, and I was like, you know what? When we start this is one of the biggest things I would love to do.
Okay, I'm real quick. I'm going to burst your bubble a little bit.
Okay.
I did not create the haunt chat community.
Really?
No. Haunt chat was going on well before I ever came around. Okay, the haunt chat actually started out in the old, and it's pre-me. But there are people that were involved in it that don't even come around anymore. Well, Scuba, he was one of the originals. And it really came out of when it would start was after Haunters Hangout. The Haunters Hangout show got over. They would open up the streaming section, and other people could come in, up to 10 people, okay, and start chatting. And that's where it got started. It was after hours of Haunters Hangout.
Oh,
now,
okay.
Another gentleman ran it. It wasn't connected at all. There was, that was like one of them. Then the second one that went on throughout the week was run by another guy, and he would send out a messenger to the week. It was still used with the Google Hangouts thingy.
Right.
He would send out a messenger thing to hundreds of people every time that he opened up the thing. And when he retired from doing it, I'm like, let's just make a group. And then you can join the group and you can get in if you're interested in doing it. So I did bring it into that environment, but I am no way the creator of Haunt Chat. It was around, and people were around long before me. Diablo and Randall and hell, him who will not be named.
Who is
his ears are burning down in Texas. Like, what is that? What is that? Is it Taco Bell?
There were many around well before me that did the Haunt Chat deal.
Right.
I'm the one that created the group, named it Haunt Chat. And then me, like I said, when I come in and I do something, I go full bore at it. I thought this would be great if we could stream this haunt chat, kind of like what we're doing here, right? And other people could listen. And so I went out and I got a streaming service and I set up all the cameras and all this kind of stuff. And I figured out how I could do it. And I told the guys about it and they said, no. He said, what goes on in haunt chat stays in haunt chat. I'm like, well, son of a bitch. Now what am I going to do? Because I got all this stuff built up. I made and I said, it's all set up to be like a talk show.
Yeah.
But haunt community didn't really need another talk show. They were lots of talk shows. So I'm like, so how can I do something that's original? That's not what everybody else said. I said, there are a bunch of them out there. I don't even know all the ones that are out there.
Oh, yeah, there's tons.
But nobody else knows all the other ones either. So why don't I pick those people and interview them and promote them? Because I like promoting things.
Hell yeah, man. That is awesome.
So that's what started Haunt Chat Live. Is I went out and I started getting the podcasts and the other ones that were out there and bringing ones in and interviewing them. So it was a behind the scenes get to actually talk to the people who interview the interviewers, chat with the chatters, that kind of a thing. And while I'm at it, make up some funny songs and have a good time with it.
Oh yeah, man. Like, the thing that rubs me a little bit sometimes with some of the haunt stuff, I've seen a lot of podcasts built entirely on a panel of people that none of them have ever acted in a haunt or really done anything more than, like visit one. And you need that though. Like you need a mix. Like we got Jenny who absolutely loves haunts. She actually knows a lot of the inside stuff about haunts, although she doesn't work at one. Like she might as well work at one, like legitimately.
Right.
So like we have this like good mix of like people in different stages of their haunt careers always coming on. But then you have these shows of people who really don't know anything about a haunting, at all, but they know it's popular. So let's start a show about it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, like at least one of your people on that panel have got to know something to
a little bit. But okay, so I think of that like this. Who's the audience? Who do you want the audience to be? Right? If you want the audience to be the haunt industry, you have to have people who know haunt on the thing talking.
Yeah.
Right.
But just like the average people, we have I don't diss people. I don't like, but haunt reviewers, okay? Most haunt reviewers are haunt industry type people who have been actors. A lot of them are. They know about it. But then the review that they write about it is from a haunt industry mindset, right?
Right.
We got a plus for this. The lighting was bad here. This was that, whatever. But that's like somebody from Hollywood reviewing a movie versus your average Joe review. I would much rather get a review from somebody that didn't know the haunt industry, just likes going to haunted houses.
Right.
They don't know 100%. What the hell they're talking about. They don't know everything that goes on back behind. They just know if they got scared or not, if they had a good time or not. Because when I get to go to a hunt, I don't get to go to them very often because I run one. When I get to go to one, I try to go into it with that idea. We talked earlier, I was in bands for many years. I was on the road. I was also a sound technician. I have a hard time going to a concert without my brain going, well, he needs to up that 250 a little bit or bring that back, or the bass isn't quite hot enough, or that kick drum really isn't thumping. I'm too critical of what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
So I like to just go in and goof off. When I do get to go to a hunt, I want to go in and goof off and have a good time. And forget about what goes on. And so what if you missed your cue? I don't care. I'm there to have a good, and those are the kind of reviews I like to see. So when I interview the interviewers, I want to hear what they do besides that too. But then I also want to hear, how did you build your show? How do you get your act for other people who want to do this kind of thing? Me, I work in a restaurant. I own horses. I have a corral outside over here. My hunt is on my property. It is technically it's a home hunt. I have a really big home hunt. My daughter's gonna be a vet. I got a life outside of the hunt industry. I like to dance. I used to be a stripper. Okay, so that's right. When I was a kid, there was a day. Yeah. See the look on Budsy's face there? Yeah. So.
I got something for you. Hold on.
Okay. Haven't
It's
you
Jeremy's
ever
theme
noticed
song.
while
He's not
watching
here, but-
any of those videos that I put out of when we go to events that I am always dancing? And what do I usually grab when I'm dancing?
The pole. I
never put it together.
We would go back and watch all those videos.
I didn't know you were Chip and Dale.
Yeah, well, the Iowa's version maybe.
Dancing Queen playing in the back.
Jaden said he can just imagine the dancing girl playing in the back.
Yeah,
that is epic.
So
there is so much to you, Mike. It is just amazing. And you know what? We made this comment that, and you thought it was a joke, and I know that we are very happy, and we are not going to just see you once and be done with you, because we can't be. I mean, anybody that really knows Mike can absolutely say it.
Oh, shh. I don't know.
Don't worry, I got the same problem. Hush, you equipment.
I didn't turn. Oh,
I feel like throughout the course of the show, like the OHA logo started a little bit farther over, like the other way on your shirt, and slowly but surely, like throughout the course of the show, that logo just moved farther and farther into your armpit as we've gone along. It's like it's like a sentient logo.
Did you not notice that this thing is my favorite OHA shirt?
Yeah.
Because
well, sometimes it's like it's a little over here, but like a minute ago, it actually went all the way into your armpit, and now it's back.
Yeah.
And you haven't moved at all. The logo is just like moving on its own, I think.
Maximus hates this because it is one shirt that was not done right, and he sold it to me not knowing what it looked like, and we call it the armpit shirts. And he has told me I will buy that shirt back. He said, no, it's my favorite one. Just because it's so much different than any other shirt we have. And he goes, I don't like it. I know.
Yeah.
I need to find a way to get one too, but on the opposite sides when we stand next to each other, like opposite armpit. That would be epic.
So you brought it up. So now I have to tell story this deal. Okay. The Sinister Signity logo, current logo. This is not the original. The original logo came out from our original website, that it was a template for a haunted house website, whatever that I used. And we decided we wanted some kind of iconic logo, a picture that people can look at and think us. And so I had a couple people make some, and I had 4 or 5 different types of things that we could use for Sinister Sydney and cool logos to whatever, be on buttons or billboards. And as a joke, now this drawing, this caricature, was done at HauntCon KC a couple of years ago, or Crypticon KC, excuse me, Crypticon KC a couple of years ago, when we went down and we were vendors. We promoted Haunt Chat Live and Sinister Sydney, and the guy right next to me was an artist. It was my birthday that weekend, and while I didn't know it, during the week he drew a picture of me. And that was this, and I loved it. And so anyway, as a joke with the list of the legitimate ones they were supposed to vote for, I threw this one up there. Big head, just ego, whatever, throw me in here. And because I let the crew pick what our new logo was going to be. And they said, we want that one. I said, no, that was a joke. It's not my haunt, it's your haunt. I'm not having my face as the logo for the haunt. And they said, yes, we are. It's not your haunt. It's our haunt. We're deciding that's the logo we're using. I was like, fuck. So He's pretty.
So, the three logos that we use for different things that we do is we have the Chainers Field of Screams. I don't know. Can you guys put me up on the big?
Yep. Oh yeah. So
you got it, Jenner. You need to get
because one of them.
I got it.
Okay, so we have this one is the actual haunt, and what we do. This one has been like a joke, but this one is actually something that a lot of different people want it just because it's one of the zombie outbreak. And then this one just got created in this beginning of this year just because I start doing this show and when we start doing this network. And when we start doing this network, we wanted to do a couple of things and Mothman and this and that.
The Loveland Frogman.
And the Frogman. And as we were going with everything, we decided that one of our scenes is going to be the zombie outbreak area and the cryptid research this coming up year.
Nice.
So our haunt's going to have all three of them.
Oh, awesome.
I love it.
And you and I had a conversation. I love that logo because my wife and I happen to collect smiley faces.
That's
and
awesome.
so I really love your logo.
It's brilliant, man.
A Chainers podcast, Mark.
What?
I can probably work on that.
You should, Pyle.
But yeah, so we are past the 2-hour mark.
Oh goodness.
And
yeah, we are.
And I think if it's all right with you guys, we'll start doing the shutdown of this episode. And I do understand that, Mike, there is so much more to you. And we have plans for Mike to come back.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And I just can't wait.
I am 60 years old and you've only heard 2 hours of it.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes it's not enough in one book.
No.
Sometimes you gotta go and make a whole album of them.
I don't think a trilogy can handle it either. It's going to have to be one of those Fabio series. You
go.
It's an epic saga, like Star Wars. Like it just keeps
like
going.
like
and
the Marvelverse?
Yeah, there you go.
Mike,
yeah, like MCU.
Mike could be a Haunterverse.
There you go. I like that. The Haunterverse.
So, but if it's all right with you, Mike, we would like to have you back on the show some other time.
Anytime you want, buddy.
Oh man, I am so glad I got a ginger to introduce me to you, and I don't care how many souls he took.
Or Lucky Charms.
I know we're over time, but I have to throw out to Maximus. Maximus is always had a huge spot in my heart because he is the very first person that ever recognized me off the street as the Gravedigger.
That is awesome.
He was the very that ever. Oh, it was at a Trans World, and he came. We never met. Rory and I are walking by, and he walked by. He went, "You're the Gravedigger." And he's the first person that ever publicly said that. Thank you, Angel. That ever publicly said that like he's the first time I was recognized outside of hometown.
I understand there is we have some blackmail footage that we're going to be airing sometime in the near future about a very close friend of his named the Pumpkin Smasher, who might have partied a little too much at the recent Horror Hound weekend at in Sharonville. And my haunt might have been there secretly videotaping him.
We've got some pumpkin smashing stories that we probably won't tell.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I'm going to go ahead and start going through the closing. So, Mike, where can we find you?
At Sap Brothers off Interstate. I'm Michael Ross on Facebook. I'm Mike Ross on Facebook. I'm Sinister Sydney on Facebook. I'm Haunt Chat Live on Facebook. I am the Gravedigger Reverend Michael on Facebook. I'm Mulberry Cemetery on Facebook. I'm in Instagram. I don't have Snapchat. YouTube, Haunt Chat Live, YouTube. All those videos are still out there. Sinister Sydney on YouTube. That is actually not, you don't get to see going through the haunt on the YouTube. It is the behind the scenes. It is the building. They're recorded while we build every season. And I've got everything from 2015 out there. So recorded. So you can, if you want to see the growth and you want to see how we do or what we do, that's a fun one to do.
Nice. Right.
Oh yeah. If you want to rack up OSHA violations, go ahead and watch that one. That'll
OSHA violations.
So Friday, where can we find you?
I'm here at the Albert.
Oh, Friday. Oh, got it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's my name. I'm here at the Owlite Network. We have joined the Dorkening, so I get to be a dork with them too. I'm at Fake Horror. I'm at Friday's Library in the Blue Box, and my author page is Jennifer Elliott. And I like to pretend I'm him sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. Raz, where do we think we can find you?
Well, you think you can type my name into any search engine, Raz T Slasher, and speak to me. In reality, there's probably a very small chance you're actually speaking to me. You might be most likely speaking to Jenny if it's anything but with Facebook. And Facebook's only if it's like my actual Facebook account. If it's the Raz T Slasher Facebook, that's also probably Jenny, along with the TikTok,
right.
All the things that I don't understand how to do. I had this amazing Jenny to save my ass, and she's allowed to pretend. She's the only person in my life that's allowed to just be me, and absolute trust there. And it's funny because sometimes I have friends message there and think they're talking to me, and then later on I'm like, that wasn't me, buddy. So we kind of have fun with some back and forth on that. You can also find me at raztslasher.com. I do handle that website myself. And otherwise, check me out at your mom's house. I'm there usually on the weekends. So just, say hi.
I have one more because this doesn't just say Mike Ross. It's my Mistress Lori on Facebook. You will find my wife Lori, Mistress Lori, and she could use some followers too. It'd be really nice to get her some more followers. So yes, Mistress Lori.
Okay.
Oh, she says her actual page, Lori Ross, is the one that needs followers, but you can find that through me too. So
I'm on it right now. And other people will as well because we know where they live.
Yeah, there you go.
So pretty much this little guy that's not so little anymore, Budsy,
6'10".
You can find him exactly at Chainer's Field of Screams. He will be chasing you around. He plays Nibbles the Clown, and he is getting wonderful brand new gloves that have claws in them this year.
That'll make it more funner. From
Wicked FX, which
cool.
I don't know who works with Wicked FX so much.
Who?
Yeah, Wicked FX. But you can find me, Pyle Hazard, on Facebook, on TikTok. I still really don't do anything with my Instagram, but maybe one of these days I will find it and figure out how to do it. You can find me here on the Owlite Network in many different shows, not just this one. And I'm very glad to be part of the Owlite Network. So, other than that, I guess here in 2 weeks. Yes.
I have a quick question for Budsy.
Yes.
Budsy, you know who else likes sitting in on podcasts? You know?
My mom.
There you go. That's why I hadn't heard it yet today. I had to hear it. Thank you, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
How to get the muscle man for the day.
Oh, no, bro.
So here in 2 weeks, I'm really glad to have my dear friends coming on the show. And the kicker is here in 2 weeks, it's going to be Wicked FX. And they're actually going to be on the road for theirs because they're going to be at Fear Expo down in Kentucky. I was trying to think of what it was, but it's Fear Expo down in Kentucky. So they're trying to figure out exactly how they're going to do it. They'll probably do it from their cell phones, but it's okay because you know what? You don't have to have the biggest equipment to get a interview out.
Nope.
So please come and see us here in 2 weeks and at 9:00 our Ohio time, Eastern time.
Yes.
Because it's kind of funny because
that's not real time.
Mike was broadcasting, oh yeah, come see me on this show at 8:00, and I'm like, well, that's not right. Oh, okay.
It is so right.
And on Facebook, if you look at the event and you're in Central Time, it said 8:00.
Yep.
Right.
Because Facebook knows time zones.
Right. So please come and watch our show here in 2 weeks. We'll have Wicked FX on here. And trust me, they do some amazing things. And it's not just 3D printing. There's a lot more to Wicked FX than you can shake a bone at.
A 3D printed bone at.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a T-Rex that has a bone, and it's funny.
Also, some of the most amazing human beings ever of all time.
Yeah. So, we appreciate you guys for staying tuned, and we'll see you guys next time, all right?
Spin to your friends.
Bye.
See you in the funny pages.